Hey guys, so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about some of the times where I've had to pass on a deal. It kind of sucks when you do have to do that, but you just got to know kind of in your gut and just know that it's a good deal and that you're going to be able to come out on top on it. So the first one that I ended up going and looking at, this was probably about 3 weeks ago, was a Jeep Wrangler TJ. So for you guys that don't know, they just announced the 2018 Jeep that's going to be the new model for quite a while. And before that, they had the JK, and the model before that was the TJ. So the TJ is a pretty basic Jeep. It has electronics in it and stuff, and it's just a basic Jeep, but it has some modern things like your cruise control, and it's fuel injected and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good base. It's a good Jeep for a lot of people to get into because it has the reliability. It has the classic TJ, or the classic Jeep look. So it's just kind of a good well-rounded Jeep for me to go in for, because especially the price point. A lot of times you can pick them up for between 6 and 10,000, depending on the mileage of the year and the options and everything that it has. So I've been really looking to get into one. I was hoping to get into one of around 7,000. I want the V6 because the 4-cylinder ones are just gutless. They're terrible. I had one before that. It can barely get out of its own way. I mean, it still runs strong and stuff, but it's not a powerhouse at all. Just to be able to get up and past people, it's kind of scary. And they get about the same gas mileage as the 6-cylinders, so that's why I'm going for would be going for a 6-cylinder. Typically, to me, I can drive stick, so it doesn't matter between automatic or manual. So I've been looking at a TJ, trying to get, obviously as new as I can and as low mileage as I can without, break and bank, and something that I know I'd be able to sell, because, I could get a pristine 6-cylinder Jeep, but I'm going to pay, $15,000 for it. I know I'm not going to be able to sell it for that. I found one down in Mountain Home, which is about an hour drive away from Boise. I went down there with a buddy of mine. We went and looked at this one. It was a Rhino-lined 2003. Only had a soft top and soft upper doors, which was kind of a bummer and something that I think I'd want to change, especially because all the windows were pretty well shot in it. None of them were clear to look through. But I was kind of hoping for a hard top and hard upper doors, just because it does make the winters and just driving on the highways and stuff a lot more comfortable. So looking for something kind of like that, but those are all things that are pretty easy to swap out, not necessarily cheap, because I think a brand new hard top to get it shipped and everything is going to be close to well over $1,000, close to $2,000 even. So that's something that you kind of got to take into account. This one did have really low miles, with only 54,000 miles on it, so it would appeal to a lot of people, if I was able to get it looking respectable again. This was something that I was really, I looked at through pretty thorough, but at the end of the day, I decided not to pull the trigger on it, just because it did need quite a bit of work. It was fully Rhino lined, but the Rhino lining wasn't done very well, so that's something that I would have to do. I really wanted to get a hard top on there. Hard upper doors, I did find someone that wanted to switch and go to just a half door, so I found someone to just kind of horse trade that across. And it just needed a bunch of different things. Like, didn't have carpet in it. Like all the interior needed to be redone or fixed up, or just new interior put in. It just needed a lot of work all the way around. There wasn't much of the body that didn't need something done. You know, it needed a new windshield. It needed just about everything gone through. So I decided to pass on it. If I would have had a shop here in Boise, I probably would have pulled the trigger on it, just because, you know, it would have taken some time, but, you know, the guy was only asking $5,700 for it, and I believe that, you know, if it was, if I had the time, I probably could have gotten it fixed up and you know, put maybe a couple thousand into it, and I probably could have sold it for, you know, 10 to 12, depending on how well everything turned out. So it wasn't that it was anything that was too far above my head, but I just felt like, you know, with the amount of time that I'd have to put into it, and the fact that I wouldn't be able to really work on it on my own, was just kind of some things that I didn't feel comfortable with, especially with it not having a super great roof on it. I wouldn't really be able to daily drive it in the winter. So I decided to pass on that. It's kind of hard just because I had already pulled the cash out and everything, and I was ready to go with it. It just wasn't meant to be, and I could feel it in my stomach, and, you know, I felt like I was trying to justify it just a little bit too much. So decided to pass on that one. Next one that I decided to pass on was there's another Jeep TJ. This one was a 1998. So it's getting a little older, especially when you cross that 2000 mark. People just start to think it's quite a bit older. This one had quite a few more miles. I think it had close to 100,000, which isn't terribly high, but, you know, compared to 50,000, it's getting up there. This one, you know, was pretty all the way around. It seemed pretty nice. Again, it needed some work. Like this one didn't have carpet in it. This one did have a bigger lift and bigger tires and a better suspension setup. But when I went and looked at it, found out it was 4-cylinder, which I didn't do my homework, and I definitely should have. I should have paid attention a little bit closer. That's something I know now. I mean, I drove 2.5 hours to go and look at it, and I just kind of living and learning. Something I should have paid attention to, but I didn't. But I found out it was 4-cylinder, which is kind of a bummer. And then when I went and test drove it, it was all over the road. That suspension was a 6-inch suspension. It was a long arm suspension kit, and it wandered all over the road. Not only because it was a softer suspension, but it also had a lot of bad bushings. So I would have needed to gone through, redo all the bushings and everything, and then, you know, do it, you know, just a lot of work to it. And it had a terrible death wobble to it with the warped rotors. Those TJs are pretty notorious for having warped rotors, so that's something that I knew I needed, would have to fix on it. And it was, I mean, I would have been pretty terrified even just to drive it home. But I decided to pass on that one. I really should have done my homework more, but it kind of worked out because my sister lives in that area anyway, so I visited her. So both of those I ended up deciding to pass on just because it wasn't, you know, neither one of them were clean. I just ended up justifying it, trying to justify it in my head just a little bit too much. So I'm glad on both of them. I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger, you know, try to make it work, just because I knew I would have been, you know, putting in a bunch of hours trying to work on it and trying to make it pay for itself again. But, you know, at the end of the day, I could have made either one of them work. it's just sometimes you gotta know where that line is where you don't feel comfortable with it, and then you start to just get anxious to get rid of them once you decide to flip them. So for me, I'm just kind of holding out, waiting for that right one that's a pretty clean one. Guys just looking to get rid of it or something, or they're in a tough situation, and I can help them out by buying it and holding on to it for the winter and then selling it. Sometimes you just gotta be okay with passing on a deal. It kind of sucks in the moment, especially when you kind of get your hopes up and you think that it's going to be the right one, and you know you're going to be able to make some good money on it. You got to know for you when it's a right thing. Anyway, I hope this is something you can kind of look at and use it as a reference when you're buying a car. If it doesn't feel right, don't force it and make it happen. You got to be able to make decisions like that on the fly. I mean, both times that I went and looked at these, I had the cash pulled out, and I was ready to pull the trigger both days. I had it figured out. I had someone with me so they could drive this back, and I could go ahead and drive that back. I figured out the insurance and everything and how much it was all going to be. And, I was definitely ready to pull the trigger, but sometimes it just doesn't work out, and a better deal will come along, and it'll probably be better timing anyway. So anyway, I hope this is kind of helpful to you to show you that in the moment it sucks, but ultimately it will turn out better. You'll kind of know in your gut when it is a good one, especially if you're paying attention to the market. You'll know when something is a good deal and when something isn't. Just from your gut. I mean, when you see enough of them out there for sale and you start comparing everything and seeing what everyone's asking for them and seeing what the true market value is. Yeah, you can look on Kelley Blue Book and you can do all your research there, but in your area, I mean, it might not be even close to Kelley Blue Book. So you got to be able to know what things are actually selling for. It's not just about what Kelley Blue Book and NADA and all those tell you. You got to be able to figure it out for your specific market. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope you'll be able to use this in your own purchasing as you go along and you go ahead and purchase cars to sell them. This is something that I've done quite a bit, so I'm hoping to kind of give you guys some knowledge and be able to share my experiences so that you guys can kind of learn from my experiences and my mistakes, like paying attention to exactly what motor's in it before you drive 2.5 hours to even look at it. I probably would have saved myself $100 in gas, but you live and you learn, and hopefully you learn from someone else. But anyway, I'll keep putting this content out there, tell you if I end up pulling the trigger on something else, and let you know, if I end up having to pass on anything else. I'll let you guys know. Please leave in the comments below what you guys want to see more of. If you like these little talks, or if you'd prefer me bring the camera along and actually show you the things that I noticed that I don't want to happen to other people, or that how what a good deal is, or if you want to see kind of what I'm searching for online and how I'm finding the deals that I am, or how I'm my whole process on going through all this. So please let me know what you think and what you guys want to do, or want me to do for you. Just looking to get you guys good content, and I'm just trying to put this out there because I wish I would have started doing this earlier, buying and selling cars. I didn't start until I was in later part of college, so I wish that someone would have told me to do it sooner and would have kind of shown me how to do it, because I felt like I was kind of timid when I started. So I just wanted to be able to share this with you guys, and I'll keep trying to show you, give you content and show you what I'm doing and as I'm going along. Please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe.